What is the best way to partition a hard drive for Ubuntu? Imagine setting up a new computer and wanting everything to run smoothly from the start. The way you divide your hard drive can make a big difference in how well Ubuntu works. When installing Ubuntu, choosing the right partitioning method helps keep your system organized and efficient. The best way depends on your hardware and how you plan to use your computer. First, if your system uses Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, or UEFI mode, you will need an EFI System Partition. This partition stores boot files and is usually between 100 and 500 megabytes. It must be formatted as FAT32. This partition is essential for the system to start properly in UEFI mode. If your computer uses Basic Input-Output System, or BIOS mode, you do not need an EFI partition. Instead, you focus on creating a root partition and a swap partition. The swap partition acts as extra memory when your RAM fills up. Its size should be about the same as your RAM, or slightly less. For example, if you have 4 gigabytes of RAM, make the swap around 4 gigabytes. If you plan to hibernate your computer, the swap should be at least the size of your RAM. This partition is not mounted and is formatted as swap space. The root partition, which is marked with a /, contains the operating system files, installed programs, and user data. It is best to format this partition with the ext4 file system because it is reliable and fast. For most users, a minimum of 8 gigabytes is enough, but at least 15 gigabytes is recommended. This extra space allows for updates and new software without running out of room. Some users also create a separate boot partition if their system BIOS cannot access boot files stored far from the start of the disk. This partition is usually between 250 megabytes and 1 gigabyte. It is helpful in specific hardware setups but is less common today. When partitioning a disk, consider the type of disk you have. For newer systems with GID partition table or GPT disks, an EFI System Partition is required for UEFI boot. For older systems with Master Boot Record or MBR disks, you might only need a root and swap partition unless you are using GPT with BIOS mode. The default file system for Ubuntu is ext4 because it offers good performance and stability. You can use FAT32 if you want to share files with Windows, but it is not suitable for the root or swap partitions. For simple setups, create an EFI System Partition if using UEFI, a swap partition matching your RAM size, and a root partition filling the remaining space. If you are dual booting with Windows, share the EFI partition carefully and keep separate root and swap partitions to avoid conflicts. Advanced users might add extra partitions like Home for user data or for variable data. This helps keep personal files separate from system files, making backups and upgrades easier. In the end, the best way to partition your hard drive for Ubuntu depends on your hardware and how you plan to use your system. A straightforward approach with an EFI partition if needed, swap space equal to your RAM, and a well-sized root partition with ext4 is a reliable choice for most users. This setup ensures your Ubuntu installation runs smoothly and stays organized.